Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to thank you guys again for tuning in, listening to the podcast, and viewing the videos on YouTube. Sorry, it's still early. My brain is still getting over all the things that was been going on. It's been a late night, early morning, but I truly appreciate all the support, all the persistent followers who continue to reach out and suggest and respond to emails and chit chat with me, and I chit chat with them, and just offering insight. This is a pure, opinionated, nothing factual other than what I do present as fact, but it's basically going off my opinion. But anyway, I don't want to hold you guys up. So I released another video prior to this one regarding the fight card for Jessie Vargas versus Adrian Broner. And I watched all three fights, and I was highly and thoroughly entertained until the last fight. Of course, the first fight was between Gervonta Davis and Jesus Quajar. And honestly, my initial thoughts about Davis was I knew he was a good fighter. I knew Quajar was a good fighter, but I didn't know the age difference was so significant. Now I know some people say, well, age doesn't matter. Well, in a sport, high contact sport like boxing, age does matter. Excuse me. So when it comes down to experience, age doesn't matter. But when it comes down to athleticism and power, age matters. Because as you get older, your power diminishes. You start to get a little bit slower. You get arthritis in your knees. Your toes start cracking. And you start growing hair in weird places. I.e., why this guy mustache was all over the place on his face. He looked like somebody from like the 1930s Fight Club. But anyway, I was thoroughly pleased by Davis's performance. And ending the fight off I don't want to call it a knockout. I call it a TKO. Well, they ruled it as a TKO, but anyway. Davis went to the body, and I don't know what Quajar was doing during training camp. But to get outworked in the body, and you do a lot of ab workouts to improve your abdominal strength, I don't know what was going on. So I was thoroughly pleased with the Davis and Quajar fight. Then, of course, you had, I think it was Jamal Charlo, which it was one of the Charlo twin brothers. I can kind of tell them apart, but then I kind of can't. I believe the one who fought last night was a little bit more reserved versus the other brother who got into the bickering argument with Adrian Broner and Gervonta Davis. And of course, Charlo fought Hugo Centeno, whatever his name is, and that fight, that fight surprised me. But I felt like I think people go about boxing and every art form wrong. You have some people who are offensive first. You have some people who are defensive first, and Centeno was definitely defensive first, which is why he was able to rank up so high and able to win so many of his fights. Of course, he had a few knockouts, but that was probably against guys that were coming straight out of the bar. Somebody gave him $500, put it in their hand, and told him, "Hey, just go around the corner." And there goes Centeno waiting to sucker punch somebody and get another W. I'm not saying that's what really happened. It's just my opinion, but I could obviously see that Centeno was heavily outmatched by Charlo. Charlo looked like he barely broke a sweat. He was in there dancing, being aggressive, and of course, I feel like the more aggressive fighter who's looking to not only stand toe to toe, throw the punches, but is willing to back off, evade, slip, counter, doing a whole bunch of work. The more work a boxer does, the more That's not just me just moving, but the more a boxer works the entire package and he presents that entire package, the better it is that he may win. And so, of course, I thought it was gonna go about. I wasn't expecting that a knockout. Charlo put this guy straight on the canvas, hit him with a couple button hooks behind the ear, knocked his equilibrium off, chin checked him a couple times, and sent him to the floor hard. I mean, his body caved over his knee. He looked like a baby that was, or a toddler that's falling out in a temper tantrum. That's what he looked like. And the referee was like, "Nah, don't get up," you know, because it was only going to end even worse. And the guy, not to piggyback off of what other people saying, he just didn't look like the fighting type. Of course, nobody ever looks like the fighting type. You know, that's a misperception about people. You never know who's in the ring boxing like that. People don't think that I box, but I've been in the boxing and not industry, but I've been in the boxing world for the past 2.5 years, and I've been really getting interested into it and training myself and just giving myself the hunger and appetite, not for competitiveness, but I see the health benefits of boxing as far as the conditioning, the training, the food regimens and stuff like that. And so it's always good to get in the field so you're not familiar with. But to go on to the main event with Adrian Broner and Jessie Vargas, I was highly upset. I was extremely upset. Not that the fight didn't go as planned, but the fight didn't go as I wanted it to go. I wanted Broner to come out heavy hitting, hard body, strong. He talked all this crap. He got everybody built up again. And this isn't the first time. This is the fourth fight. He got into the Maidana fight, got into the Porter fight, got into the Garcia fight, and now he coming to the Vargas fight. He says the same thing. I'm a changed man. I'm a fighter. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, man. You know. So, of course, Vargas comes out the gate hot. I gave like the first 4 rounds to Vargas. I mean, he threw at least 100 more punches, or at least 200 more punches than Broner throughout the entire fight. He basically set the tempo. The tempo was set. Broner couldn't outmatch him on the tempo. And of course, I only gave him the first 4 or 5 rounds because Vargas came in, throwing combos, boom, 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 hitting him, boom, 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 backing out, coming in, boom, boom. He kept charging in, backing out, charging in, back, and Broner just stood there. The man looked like his feet was in cement the whole night. He looked so rooted. I'm like, yeah, that's good for boxing. Have a good firm root, but you got to mix it up, man. You got to mix it up. You got to move. Why would you stand there and let somebody beat you in the head? You know, none of that made sense to me. And so I couldn't quite grasp the concept of why this guy is falling back into old habits. But lo and behold, he showed a glimmer of hope. Broner showed a glimmer of hope. It was about the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, 9th round. He was charging at Vargas, and he was landing some good. He stunned him in 2 different rounds. He stunned Vargas in 2 different rounds and took the wind out of him. He was giving some good counters, but he got cocky again. He started dancing in the ring. I'm like, man, why you? I said, you wiggling fool. Why every time you start and the crowd was chanting A B A B A? I said, man, don't hype this dumb nigga up. And lo and behold, excuse my language, but it kind of made me upset because lo and behold, this fool is just dancing in the ring. I'm like, he should be a backup dancer for one of these singing groups, man. He should go on America's Most Talented, or So You Think You Can Dance or something. Because all he wanted to do was dance around in the ring, and all that talking he did in the press conference, he didn't show out the way I wanted him to. So I gave the next 4 rounds to Broner. So I split it 5 and 4. You know that's 9. I say 10th round, that could go either way. The 11th round, that definitely went to Vargas. Vargas definitely brought it to him on the 11th round. Now, Of course, the scorecards were different. The scorecards had Broner up. They had Broner up in the 11th round. I'm like, cool, man. Get this W. I want this man to get this W. He needs to save his career. And this right here will save it. 12th round coming around, right? Some of the cards had Broner down. One card had him up. Two other the judges had him down. I'm like, man, he need to come out strong. He need to come out strong. He need to come out and leave everything out. It's like he was reserving all his energy. I'm like, well, cool. If he reserving all his energy for the last later rounds, let it go. People, I'm going to let you know it was a disappointment. He comes out of the corner sluggish. I'm like, oh my gosh, man. He come out, he barely throwing punches. This is the 12th round. And you can hear people booing. Boo, boo. Like, yeah, I mean, he come out the round, raising it, and Vargas came out, charging full stead of steam, coming out strong. He throwing combo. Boom, boom, boom. He getting it to him. Boom, 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 boom. He lead jab, right, cross hook, pop, going back to the left body, hook to the body, boom, going on with a couple uppercuts, stacking back, running up on him and hitting him with the stutter. And all you can see is Broner throw his gloves up and flinch a little bit, and then Vargas step back and get on the pedal. And I'm like, man, this dude's outworking you. To be truly honest, Vargas won the fight. It don't matter about the bruises that you put on this man's face. It ain't like Vargas walked out with a knot the size of an egg on his forehead. Of course, he's a light-skinned person, okay? He's not a person of deep melanin. He's not heavily colored. So he's gonna bruise. He's gonna see it. Of course, with darker skinned folk, you're not gonna really see that many bruises because the blood really don't show through on dark skin like that. It'll show, but you gotta make it show. And so I give Broner a couple rounds, solid rounds, but Vargas set the tempo. Adrian Broner was fighting Vargas fight the whole night. It was, I understand everybody wanted all the brothers to win, with Davis winning and Charlo winning. They weren't going to give it to Broner. Broner had to go out there and go get that, because Davis, he won his fight. He straight put Boyd to the floor. Charlo put Boyd to the floor. I don't know what Broner was thinking, but Broner couldn't put Vargas to the ground. And he's not a knockout puncher no more. He's too tactical. Broner don't need 12 rounds. He needs 16 to 20 rounds. I think that's what he's been fighting for. He's holding back 10 rounds. He's throwing one punch and coming out. No, not even coming out. One punch and then standing there. One punch and then standing there. One punch and then standing. And every time Vargas would throw a punch, he tried to block it, but Vargas come out with a second punch, and he was stunning him. Boom, boom, boom. He was getting him. I was like, I see why people don't want Broner to succeed, and I see why so many people don't really rock with him. I want him to succeed because he needs the opportunity. And, of course, the fight ended in a draw. There you have it. The fight ended in a draw. Nobody wins, nobody loses. I was like, well, it's like nobody fought. It's like that's basically saying that nobody fought. Nobody came into the ring, if that's the case. And so, of course, they got the press conference afterwards. Broner said some things. Vargas said some things. They want a rematch. And Vargas saying, I'm ready to go right now, and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I wouldn't even want to cover their fight because I don't expect Broner to change. That's it. That's it for him. I've officially retired Broner. I have officially retired him. And if he wants to prove himself like he's trying to prove himself, he has my support. There's no point. There's no doubt about it. He has my support. But as far I'm not even getting it. I got it. I've been excited for too many of his fights only to be let down. And as a great supporter of his, I don't know, man. Let me know what you think in the comment sections below. Hit the like button if you like the video. Don't forget to share. You can also contact me with my email. I'll leave it in the description box below. And as always, you guys stay blessed.